very good evening to all of you. Good evening, our valued partners. As we gather in the city of Raipur, the jewel of Chhattisgarh, it's my privilege indeed to welcome all of you to the 10th edition of Evolve, Axis Bank's exclusive knowledge series for MSMEs. I'm Shweta Tekriwal, a proud Axisian, your host for the evening, and together, let's make this edition of Evolve a memorable experience for all. In the world of finance, best banking is like a poetry, precise, impactful, yet timeless. Similarly, we have our Axis values: ownership, transparency, teamwork, ethics, and customer service. These are all imbibed deep in our DNA for an evolving culture setting. Before we start with today's event, let me talk about Evolve a bit. Conceptualized in 2014, Evolve began as a multi-city initiative aimed at equipping our MSME customers with the knowledge and tools essential for scaling their business. It also focused on providing a competitive edge through curated banking solutions. Over the years, we've engaged with more than 1,200 customers over 50 plus cities, and we continue this initiative through our 10th edition of Evolve yet again. We are quite excited to be here in Raipur, the fourth cleanest city in India. Raipur has evolved from a rice bowl to a smart city. Nationally, the MSME sector has emerged as a key pillar of India's trillion-dollar economy. This brings us to today's theme, which is MSME powering the $10 trillion economy. I now invite Mr. Saurabh Datta, RBBH East, to share his opening remarks on Evolve.
Good evening, and a warm welcome to Evolve, the Axis Bank flagship initiative designed to empower small and medium enterprises with the knowledge, the insights, and the financial expertise needed to thrive in today's dynamic business environment. Over the years, this platform has become a true hallmark of Axis's commitment to supporting the MSME sector. It's an absolute privilege and honor to stand before each one of you today, representing a bank that has always remained deeply invested in the growth and success of small and medium enterprises, the very backbone of our economy. Your resilience, your spirit, innovation, and the entrepreneurial spirit not only drives the economic growth, but also shapes industries and creates employment across the length and breadth of our beautiful nation. The future of MSMEs in India is extraordinarily promising. Government initiatives such as PLI schemes, the ONDC, and the ever-expanding digital public infrastructure are opening new avenues for transformation and growth. This commitment is further reinforced by the encouraging announcements that we had in our union budgets, clearly underscoring the importance of this sector. While challenges do persist, particularly around digital adoption and access to finance, we believe that today's landscape offers unprecedented opportunities to innovate, scale, and build resilient, sustainable, and customer-centric businesses. A quick bit about Axis Bank in the state of Chhattisgarh. We have an ever-expanding branch network of close to 141 branches as we speak. We keep adding at least 10 to 12 branches every year. Out of these 141, we have 52 branches which are in LWE branch locations. On market share on deposits, we have a market share of 5.84% with a year-on-year growth of around 18%. The total employees of Axis Bank in the state of Chhattisgarh is close to 1,600 as we speak. We are also planning to open an Axis house here in Raipur which will be a state-of-art business and servicing hub to cater to every business line that we have. As we embark on this journey together, I invite each one of you to leverage the expertise, engage deeply with Evolve, our flagship program, and explore how Axis Bank can partner with you and take your business on to the next level. Welcome to Evolve. Welcome to the future of business growth. Thank you.
Thank you so much for setting the tone. Our dedication to MSMEs is built on insights gathered over the years. Axis Bank's commercial banking group continues to innovate, deliver best-in-class banking services tailored for MSMEs. To now invite Mr. Atul Mukhopadhyay, EVP, SEG, Commercial Banking Group, Axis Bank, to share his thoughts on MSMEs powering the trillion-dollar economy.
So, good evening, everyone. और आप सभी को नमस्कार. Great to be back in Raipur after quite some time. So, I have come to this city many times, and it has been a great experience coming across old acquaintances. And as the evening will progress, I'm sure we'll interact, catch up on old times, and of course, since we are talking about MSME, definitely discuss about the future. So, welcome to Evolve. It's our signature event from Axis Bank. We invite customers on the stage, so that event will be taking place after some time. And it is generally, if you ask me to sum it in a phrase, so it's of the SME, by the SME, and for the MSME. So India is a growing story, I think all of you know, and we believe in that. And the next 6 trillion will not come from unicorns, but it will come from people like you, your institutions. And there's a long way ahead where we'll together, we'll walk towards a Viksit Bharat. So India's growth model, I think it's been written by MSMEs. If you look at some of the numbers, so as far as India's GDP is concerned, about 30% is contributed by MSMEs. India's exports, 45% contributed by MSMEs. Manufacturing, 35% contributed by MSMEs. We give employment to about 32 crore people. And there are, at present, 7.32 crores registered MSMEs in the country, including the Udyam Assist platforms. And the story is robust, as you can see. So if you go through the slide, I think future is bright. 60% of new credit demand we envisage is going to come from MSMEs. And what are the key growth pillars? So manufacturing, exports, digital economy. The digital stack, I think it's a well-known story. And that gives us the infrastructure to propel forward. So, and the government is also heavily invested in this. We saw during COVID what our credit guarantee scheme did. And as a result, if you see the MSME book as a whole, since 2021, the GNPA has come down from 9.1% to about 4.5% about a year back. So I think the story overall is very, very optimistic. Coming back to Chhattisgarh, the heart of India, and I think Shweta beautifully summarized it, from the rice bowl to a smart city. I think the journey is tremendous. I mean, and look at, it's a unique territory in this country which is uniquely endowed with minerals, resources, greenery, and of course, since I've been coming for the last 4 or 5 years, there's a heavy, there's a fast move level of urbanization also. So there's a very strong credit community, and it caters to the markets in and around the center of India. So it's a very important place to be. Some numbers, it's the 18th ranked economy in the country, 1.7% contribution to India's GDP, and MSMEs contribute 45% of Chhattisgarh's industrial output. So it's a very important segment as far as Chhattisgarh is concerned as well. So you have about 12.5 lakhs Udyam registered MSMEs in Chhattisgarh, and 96% of industrial units in Chhattisgarh are MSMEs. So that is where the core of the industrial activity in the state comes from. If you look at this slide, I think if we come across the customers who have arrived for this event, I think this is extremely familiar. This is the typical journey that an entrepreneur goes through. And we have our Axis suite of products, Axis MSME suite of products, which can serve each and every customer basis their need and basis their life cycle of their institution or organization. And as you move and evolve and move forward, of course, we have the next level of solutions to provide to you so that your business does not suffer and your business also gets strengthened. In the MSME space, we are a formidable player. We are growing at a CAGR of 27% over the last 5 years. We have a market share of 8.4%, and the book size is about 2.6 lakh crores. And we are growing, as I said, 27% on a CAGR basis. So the growth looks good. And bank is heavily invested in this segment. As I said before, I think we have a one-axis MSME suite of products. So a whole lot of products to take care of your financial needs. And I would like to leave this slide with you for a minute or so. You can absorb this. And while we cannot discuss the entire slide at this presentation, I think it will be quite long. But of course, we are here through the rest of the evening, and we can take anything or any of the products or solutions, and we can discuss. But the main thing is, I think, as a customer, as an entrepreneur, whatever banking needs you have, we have the solutions to take care of that. So while we'll talk about Axis Bank, I think on a bigger picture, if you look at the bigger picture at a satellite view, I think One Axis is the core of our soul. And we have 8 subsidiaries also. And together with the Axis brand, I think a formidable strength to provide the best of services to our customers. And some of the services which we offer is already there. Some of them have already been taken by you. If you're interested in anything further, I'm sure we can take it forward. Okay, so I remember when I started banking and when I joined Axis Bank about 20 years back, the most important product for us at that point in time in retail banking space was an at-par check, which was a convenient substitute for DD and PO, mainly for demand draft, because you had to issue a demand draft. It took time. The customer took time to encash that, and there was a charge also. And we resolved that by issuing at-par check. If you ask me today, I don't remember the last time I used a checkbook myself. So banking has evolved, and so has technology. And India's digital stack, I think it's a world-famous story. And continuing with that, I think we have an offering for corporates, Neo for corporates. Earlier, we had corporate internet banking, which I'm sure most of you have enjoyed and you have used the product. So this is one step further. It's a do-it-yourself kind of a product where all our applications are under one roof to serve you and to serve your banking needs. And finally, I think I would spend some time on this slide, and especially for the August gathering, which is here in this room. So this is an ultra-affluent product that we have, Burgundy Private. And it has so many features. We have banking solutions, wealth management solutions, portfolio advisory, trust and estate policy. In fact, some of you may already be enjoying our One card, which is a very powerful card. It's a 3-in-1. So you have a debit card, credit card, and you also have a Forex card, travel currency. And 0 charges, unlimited lounge access. It's a very premium product. Ideally, we invite our customers through invitation. So we extend our invitation to you all. Our senior Burgundy partner, Biswajit, is also here. So if you want, you can interact with him on the sidelines after the meeting is over. But it's a premium product, and trust me, I think it brings the best of Axis to our customers. Okay, so with this, I come to the end of my presentation. Thank you for your patient hearing, and looking forward to interacting with each and every one of you after the evening is over. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the thoughtful presentation. A bit of notice for all of you here present. We have a product booth outside this room wherein you can take the demo of Neo for Corporate. So after the event is over, please take out some time, visit the stall. It has Neo for Corporate, Neo for Business, Neo for Markets. Do try it once. You never know, it could add some value to your business too. We all know how critical it is for a business to not only be aware about the immediate factors that can affect, but also to understand how market outlook can impact the growth. A dynamic market outlook can significantly impact businesses. Understanding these shifts is very crucial for MSMEs. Today, we have Ms. Pooja Gupta, SVP Treasury Market Sales, Axis Bank, who will share her views on the current market landscape. Pooja, we request you to take the stage.
Good evening, everyone. Namaste. It's great to be here with all of you business leaders in Raipur. I am Pooja Gupta, and I will be taking you through some of the insights on the most discussed topic currently in India, outside of cricket and Bollywood, of course, tariffs, their implications, and Axis's view on India, macroeconomics, inflation, interest rates, and the most interesting dollar-rupee FX. Let's take a step back before actually going to tariffs. Industrial policy. Tariffs are actually a subset of industrial policy. Industrial policy is not a recent phenomena. It's been around for the last 10 years, since 2015, in some form or the other. China was the biggest one जिसने कायदे से actually industrial policy implement किया when there was no country actually focusing on it. And as you can see on this graph here, China's share in global manufacturing tripled from 10% to close to 30%. It's also notable that the share for the US and the EU did not really fall by that much, which actually means that China took away market share from other developed economies like Japan, UK, and a whole lot of other countries. Industrial policy also means regional trade agreements or bilateral trade agreements between countries. This is the total number of regional trade agreements that are in place currently in the world between countries. And if you can see, there has been a very quiet growth in the regional trade agreements in the last 10 years. If you go one level deeper, which is regional trade agreements usually used to cover smaller areas, less than 10 policies. But now, most of them cover greater than 20 policy areas. Why all this? Why all this? Tariffs were always there in some form or the other, as you can see in this graph. A bit like Akshay Khanna, always present with the talent, but they made a big debut this year in 2025, and now they impact pretty much most aspects of businesses. So if you can see, the last time tariffs were this high as they are today was in 1930, when the world was in depression, or the Great Depression as we all call it. This is interesting because the 23 countries which got out of Great Depression got it through by depreciating their way out of it. And this is a fact that I'm going to refer to when I speak about dollar rupee, because it may not be such a terrible time for us to be a depreciating country. What do tariffs actually mean for India? You can see the timeline. Tariffs were always there, as I said. The base level tariffs impact about $2.5 billion between India and US in this case. I'm only representing two countries at the moment, India and US. On 10th April, we were hit with a baseline tariff of 10% that all countries were hit with. That amounts to 6 billion, which is 6 plus 2, 8 billion total impact. The impact put out here is basically split between India and US. So it's not that India actually bears the entire $8 billion of brunt, but it's shared between the US consumer and the Indian producer. After that, in August, we were hit with 25% more tariffs. That's an additional $10 billion. And after that, we had a hit of 25% punitive tariffs, taking the total impact to about $30 to $35 billion. This is dead weight. This is a dead weight loss that is actually passed on to the US consumer and is borne by Indian businesses. Axis view is that the punitive tariffs will really not stick. It's also important to note that the US runs a surplus with some countries in the world, and they have slapped a 10% tariff even on those countries. So the base level is 10%. Our Asian peers have got hit with a tariff rate of 18 to 20%. So 20% now becomes the base level for India because we are in that bracket. The third point is that the US has finished making trade deals with 75% of its trading partners, and we are still not there yet. So we are in the bottom 25%. All of which I'm trying to say is that we think that most likely we will land between 20% to 25% of tariffs in reality whenever a trade deal is stuck. And Access Research believes that the deal is at least 3 to 6 months away in timeline terms. We have tried to analyze the impact of the tariffs sector-wise in India. And we think that jewelry, clothing, and textile are the two sectors that are going to be hit the most. This does not mean that 90% of the number is going to come to these sectors, but these sectors will bear whatever the percentage brunt is in the highest terms. In the context of Raipur, I can see that power and steel also feature here, although the impact to them is fairly low, less than 5%. In that graph, all we are trying to show is that India's exports to the US have steadily gone up in the last 2 decades. And if you actually look at the corner, you can see that there has been enough front loading that has occurred in Q2 and Q3 of this calendar year, which means that as soon as India came to know that tariffs are going to start getting implemented in August, there was front loading of exports which was done to the US from India. And that's one of the reasons why we are seeing weakness in the months of September, October, in the exports increase from India. I'm going to cite an example of marine products. Marine products exports from India to the US are quite a large percentage. Marine products actually form about 5% of India's total exports. As you can see, the full tariff has been applicable only for 3 months of September, October, and November. The marine products export to the US fell by 25%, and the total exports of India also fell by 1% in just these 3 months when the full impact of the tariff was felt on India. But marine exports still grew by 16% to other countries outside of the US. And overall exports are still positive. They've grown at 4%. This brings us to the question that is it just tariffs or plain simple product competitiveness and the inability to compete against manufacturing giants like China being one of them? This actually shows us that you can find alternate markets if you have a great product to sell. The US consumer is not feeling the impact of any of the tariffs yet. Why? If you look at this graph, whatever the US has announced, the total effective tariff rate to them is 16.5%. But the number put out by the US as tariff collected by them is only 11%. There is a 5.5% gap that what they have levied is not what they are able to collect. Why is that happening? There are 3 things that we should note here. There are genuine legal carve-outs that the US has made in this 18%. They've carved out a lot of intermediate goods, agri, pharma, the sectors that they probably are in need. Underinvoicing. Underinvoicing is also a phenomena that's happening a great deal. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but to simply give you an anecdote, the numbers that is reported by the US on how much they import from China is different from the number that China reports as their exports to the US. There is a gap between the 2 numbers, and that gap is greater than $50 billion in any given year. So under-invoicing exists. There is also a concept of transshipment. Destination bhi same hai, originator bhi same hai, but the route has changed. A lot of countries have found transshipment routes to bypass the tariffs. But now it's come back on the American authorities' radar. And what they are saying is that any new trade deal that they are signing with a country, they are putting clauses with respect to transshipment. The latest Thailand deal that they are striking, they have put in a clause that if found that the goods have been transshipped from another country, the tariff rate will be much higher than what they are levying on Thailand. So let's see what India has done with respect to industrial policy. We have also done a fair bit of bilateral agreements, free trade agreements, as we like to call it, FTAs. If you see, I don't think we've done much before 2020 on signing any free trade agreement with any of our trading partners. But in the last 5 years, we have woken up and we have signed free trade agreements covering $145 billion of our exports. Out of the total exports of $443 billion, 1/3 of our exports are now covered under free trade agreements. We've done agreements with UK, the big one, Mauritius, Australia, UAE, and a few other European nations. But the biggest one for us remains US and EU. If we actually manage to cover these 2, we would have covered close to 70% of our exports with free trade agreements or bilateral trade agreements. Let's look at this. This is an interesting concept. This is a concept that India has now started to track. This basically says that we are exporting the same stuff that these countries are importing, but not from India. So Spain may be importing a commodity from another country, but not from India. And India is exporting the same very commodity to another country. So basically, we need to make trade agreements which are complementary in nature. They should import from us rather than from any other country. The second thing that India has done, of course, is the more spoken about PLI schemes. I'm sure most of you here are more aware of these than bankers. And what we see here is that there has been benefits in a lot of sectors that we are starting to see. For example, mobile phone exports. India has turned a net exporter since 2024. Semiconductors. PLI has identified smart sectors, subsidies, incentives, all of that. I think, in short, protectionism is back. Tariffs are going to be the cornerstone for 2026. And as I said, that we expect that we would be in the range of 20 to 25% for the tariffs to be implied on us. And it will really depend on how we manage to negotiate the deal now. Let's look at some macroeconomic numbers for India. Before I get into that, I think it's a common reference in Treasury that economics is a lot like cricket. By the time you figure out the pitch, the ball changes. So on that note, what you can see here is that India is still remaining the fastest growing major economy. The GDP growth consensus numbers, consensus is put out by a third party, a research company, Bloomberg, and consensus says that for FY27, most people in India expect India growth to be at 6.8%. Axis GDP growth forecasts put FY27 and 26 both at around 7.5%. We have been consistently aggressive about our growth forecasts, and we have been right. Even last year, we predicted GDP growth to be much higher than consensus, and we were right. Consensus is slowly inching up, is what we have seen in the previous data. This is a simple representation taken from IMF, which has ranked the countries in the world as per their growth forecast for the next 5 years. India is top, center, followed by Indonesia and China. Now let's look at dollar rupee, which is circumstantially not currently the bright shining spot as the other growth numbers that we just saw. As I mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, in the Great Depression, there were multiple countries which actually depreciated their way out. We believe that it's actually not such a bad time to have a weakening currency pair. RBI's goal, if you see the chart, the green lines are the points when RBI has intervened and brought stability to the currency. RBI's goal in intervention is to smoothen the trajectory of dollar rupee, but not to really determine the direction of the currency. The green lines, as I said, are the intervention points, and you see that post that, dollar rupee has remained in a range for a while before it broke out again. We at Axis think that 91 in dollar rupee is going to be the midpoint going forward for the next 12 months, or maybe the whole of FY27. I think the range will be about 92 to 94, and that's a risk scenario that most businesses should plan for and watch out for. The main reasons for dollar rupee move has been capital outflows and the direction in which capital is flowing. There has been, if you look at this line, net FDI in India is close to zero. Capital flows have reversed. And if you actually see that in the last 5 years, developed economies have gone from literally 0% interest rates to close to 4 and 5% interest rates. There is a lot happening in Europe with respect to investments in defense, productivity-related investments. There's a lot happening in the US, AI-based investments. A lot of capital seems to be moving in that direction. Now, this net FDI negative nature actually puts a lot of pressure in the short run on dollar rupee in the depreciating direction. We've also seen a lot of big ticket exits from India via IPOs and private equity exits as well, whether it's the LG IPO or the Hyundai IPO or the upcoming Prudential IPO. That is basically capital movement outwards from the country. if you look at this chart, this is basically where this is FDI and this is FII, portfolio flows as we call it, which is the more volatile one. If you look at this, India FII flows 12-month number is dropped to negative as percentage of market cap. And if you see the winners are China, Korea, Taiwan, basically labeled as the AI winner countries. India somehow is still not figuring in the AI winner countries list. We are in the AI loser country list still. For FY27, we think that growth capital will start to come back. And I think equity markets may realize that they have over-penalized India for not having a trade deal with the US quick enough. So we think that FY27 will see a lot better inflows into the country, whether it's FDI or whether it's FII. We'll now look at interest rates and inflation, the last part of my presentation. We are currently in a Goldilocks situation, as I think the Reserve Bank best put it in its policy this time. Inflation is at phenomenally low levels, and I don't think most of us expect inflation to have a runaway impact at all. We expect at Axis that inflation will be well less than the 4% mark for the next 2 years. As also, we don't see a rate movement in either direction in the next 1 year. Even in the whole of FY27, our view is that rates will be right where they are. That's a quick summary of what I just took you through. Basically, tariffs are a subset of industrial policy, which is getting played out in multiple ways than just tariffs. It's the dawn of protectionism. We are moving away from multilateralism to bilateralism. The real question is, are tariffs the only threat to exports in India, or is it competition, or is it product competitiveness? We still expect India to be the shining spot and be the fastest growing economy in FY27. We expect dollar rupee to still depreciate further, and the RBI is going to aspire to have mild and not wild depreciation in dollar rupee. That is the theme that we are looking out for. Thank you so much for being a nice and patient audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pooja, for those insights. I'm sure it has helped most of us here. So MSMEs, we see, has evolved into the backbone of Indian economy, contributing to GDP, employment, as well as regional employment. Axis Bank remains deeply committed to support this segment by its tailored banking solutions. Successful businesses are not built overnight. There's a lot of thought and learning that goes behind fine-tuning and perfecting every step. We are confident that today's panel discussion will offer valuable perspective on the theme MSMEs powering the $10 trillion economy. The panel shall be moderated by Mr. Prashant T.S., President and Head Mid-Corporate at MEG Axis Bank. He heads both the businesses in the bank, leveraging over 25 years of experience spanning both wholesale and retail banking. Prashant joined Axis Bank in 2020 and has been instrumental in scaling these businesses for the bank over the past 6 years. He's also been involved in several important transformation projects, driving execution in the wholesale banking coverage group. We invite Prashant and ask him to take the stage. Prashant, in this moderation, he'll be joined by 3 dynamic business leaders, all from Raipur, our growth partners, as we say, each representing the vibrant spirit of MSMEs. Together, we'll explore their entrepreneurial journeys, the evolving landscape of local industries, and the role of innovation in shaping future. We would first like to call on stage Mr. Suresh Kumar Goel, Chairman and Executive Director, Sambhav Group. He brings with him 2 decades of expertise in steel manufacturing, project execution, and technology adoption, earned recognition as Time's Most Powerful Leader 2022. He has driven diversification, innovation, and sustainable growth, inspiring the industry with his strategic vision. Mr. Goel continues to inspire with his unwavering focus. Thank you so much for taking stage, sir. We now invite Mr. Rohit Parak, promoter Touchstone Private Limited. Mr. Rohit, He's a management graduate from Jamnalal Bajaj, Mumbai, with more than 13 years of experience in FMCG distribution business. He's also worked with Dabur. Presently, he's looking after the sales and distribution in his own company. Touchstone Teleservices Private Limited is engaged in distribution of FMCG goods. Third, last but not the least, we'll invite Mr. Ankit Agarwal from Pilania Industries India Private Limited. Ankit has steered growth across three verticals: iron and steel, software, as well as hotels. Pilania Industries is engaged in steel manufacturing, specializing in product producing TMT bars. We welcome all of them, request you to invite them, welcome them with a thunderous applause, ladies and gentlemen. Over to you, Prashant.
Yeah, thanks, Shweta. Good evening, everyone. The intent of this panel discussion is to have some of our customers share their experience of the journey, entrepreneurial journey. I think we have a mix of industry and the stage at which the entrepreneurial journey is. So starting off with the panel discussion, Sureshji, I'll start off with you. I think you started off with a different industry altogether and right now in iron and steel. So उसके बारे में आप थोड़ा बताएंगे तो अच्छा रहेगा.
पहले तो मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ एक्सिस बैंक का कि इन्हें महत्वपूर्ण मंच पर मुझे आमंत्रित किया है. और जहाँ तक मेरी जर्नी की बात है तो हम पॉलीमर बिजनेस से हमारी स्टार्टिंग है और हम पॉलीमर बिजनेस में अच्छा कर रहे थे
जी.
और लगभग 2000 के आसपास जब भारत के अंदर में नेतृत्व वाजपेयी जी का नेतृत्व में भारत आगे बढ़ रहा था
जी.
तो ये छत्तीसगढ़ स्टेट का उन्होंने तोहफा दिया. और जब यहाँ के तत्कालीन मुख्यमंत्री ने स्कीम की दौर चालू किए और उस टाइम पे क्योंकि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की ग्रोथ बहुत अच्छी थी भारत में, भारत जो है बहुत तेज़ी से शाइनिंग इंडिया जो एक टैगलाइन चल रही थी, तो उसके तहत जब भारत विकसित हो की तरफ आगे बढ़ रहा था तो उस टाइम पे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के लिए जो बेस रीढ़ है जो स्टील वो की ज़रूरत बहुत थी. और उसी दौरान हम भी तैयार थे कुछ नया काम करने के लिए. और यहाँ पे क्योंकि देखिए छत्तीसगढ़ जो है वो आप कह दीजिए कि धान का कटोरा है और साथ साथ जो है यहाँ पे आयरन ओर की उपलब्धता बोलिए मतलब बेस्ट आयरन ओर पूरे वर्ल्ड इंडिया के अंदर में अवेलेबल है. और आप कह दीजिए कोयले की बहुत अच्छी मात्रा में यहाँ पे
ऑल नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज.
तो आप कह सकते हैं कि इतनी अच्छी संभावनाओं के साथ इतने अच्छे जो हमको साथ मिला गवर्नमेंट का और हमने स्टील में फिर 2004 में जो है हमारी पहली स्टील कंपनी की शुरुआत की. तो ये जर्नी हमारी पॉलीमर से शुरू हुई और आज तक जो है हम स्टील के अंदर
बढ़िया. तो एक ही चीज़ मुझे समझ में आ रहा है कि एक ही बिजनेस में रह सकते हैं या दूसरा अगर कुछ अच्छा दिख रहा है तो उसमें भी हम जा सकते हैं. थैंक यू. रोहित जी, आपसे सवाल. सेकेंड जनरेशन एंटरप्रेन्योर है तो आपका जर्नी लास्ट 10 साल का आप बताएंगे तो अच्छा रहेगा एंड आगे 10 साल का क्या विजन है.
Firstly, thank you for inviting us, and of course, we've been part of Evolve, so I think we see this program getting bigger and hopefully even more richer in experience. So thank you for having us. I think it's a great thing to have customers come and speak.
Yes.
I think for me personally and our journey, as in of course we've been always a business family, pretty much in the state, rural businesses earlier. My background, I chose not to join the family business what it was supposed to be or how it was done. I thought kuch to chalo alag karte hain. I started started working with Dabur after my MBA, so worked with Dabur for a couple of years. Luckily, unluckily, I think serendipity एक बहुत अच्छा word है जो English में कि वो मतलब बस किसी तरह से हो गया. I was at the right place at the right time to start. And for me, the question and that time my mentor he asked me this question saying कि यार तेरे को रायपुर आना है कि नहीं आना है, because I had a very option of a very plush career in a corporate world of saying कि ठीक है यार आप बॉम्बे या शायद कहीं बाहर जा सकते हो. The question for me in 2007 when we started Touchstone was to whether to come back to Raipur or not. I thought, and itna to nahi socha tha, I think just didn't think so much. Started with saying okay, we got an opportunity to work with Procter & Gamble. P&G was looking for a distributor partner. So our business is sales and distribution for large brands, small, large, any kinds of brands, FMCG, consumer electronics, telecom, all kinds of consumer, simple business है, trading हम ब्रांड से माल लेते हैं, रिटेलर, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर, होलसेलर, किसी को भी देते हैं, रिटेल ऑपरेशंस करते हैं. But it looked very simple, and then that's how we started in 2007. For me, the larger question, and I'm glad in hindsight, and now also I think Raipur was buzzing. Consumerism overall, हम लोग सब कोई consumer हैं across, and we see multiple brands. हम Apple के लिए retailers हैं, हम Samsung के distributors हैं, हम PNG के products करते हैं, हम Jio का telecom पूरा business देखते हैं छत्तीसगढ़ के लिए. Across sector हर साल very, very few states in the country and very, very few regions in the country are able to deliver this kind of growth. Luckily, हमारे लिए basis के फायदे मिल रहे हैं. So yeah, it's been a great journey since 2007. We started expanding, diversifying with different categories, different verticals. हमारे साथ ही बहुत सारे channels खुल गए, e-commerce आ गया, quick commerce अब आ रहा है, online, offline, all of that things kept on happening. I think we started leveraging on that.
Yes.
My brother joined, cousins joined, so business started expanding. So it's been great. We're doing, touch wood, doing well.
So Ankit, youngest on the panel, I think, I think as a group you manage 3 different businesses. I think it's iron and steel, software and hospitality. So how do you kind of manage all 3?
So first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. Being the least experienced here, I can see so many stalwarts who have already achieved what I'm aspiring to achieve.
We wanted a youngster on the panel.
So
We're all young, huh? Suresh, he's the youngest of all.
So I'll just give you a brief. So we are a family-run business. Shifted to Bhilai from Haryana around 60 years back.
Okay.
And when Bhilai Steel Plant was doing hiring in a big number, my grandfather, again coming from a Marwadi family, he said, "No, धंधा तो अपना ही बनाएंगे." And he started with the grains business. And my uncle and my father, they started with coal trading, and we shifted to steel manufacturing close to 2000. And so far, the journey was basically iron steel only. And then when the second generation came in, we came with a diverse set of education background, and also all of us, we worked in a different scenario. We didn't come and join the family business right away.
Okay.
I worked for a financial consulting firm in Delhi. My elder brother, he started his own steel trading without the support of the family. The eldest of all, he's an inspiration to us. He started one of the early e-commerce ventures of India, took an exit, came back to Bhilai, joined the family business, helped my father and my uncle in the business. And again, he's back in US, with offices in Bangalore, Bhilai, Indore, and US. He's stationed in US now. So that's how the software business started.
Yeah.
And hospitality is somewhere which I have a very keen interest in. I've been, I think it will be one of the fastest growing sectors.
Absolutely.
And the best part is there is no, there will never be a downfall.
Yeah.
In this particular sector. So this is something where we have just put our foot in, and hopefully we'll see how it grows.
Absolutely. Hospitality is something that's growing and probably at its peak as per me. Post-COVID, whatever losses hospitality had during COVID, I think they've made 100 times of that in the last 2 years, what I would believe. We keep saying internally, अपना hotel eligibility बढ़ाओ. हम लोग पहले डबल ट्री में रहते थे, अभी लेमन ट्री पे आ गए बोलते हैं. Sureshji, question to you. I think from a steel industry, I think I keep meeting customer. I hear कि what are the do's of the industry. अगर आप don'ts of the industry बोलेंगे तो अच्छा रहेगा, for all our customers.
ओवर एम्बिशियस जो है हमको नहीं होना चाहिए
जी.
ये एक्चुअली क्या होता है कि ये साइक्लिक इंडस्ट्री है हमारी, और इसमें एक समय अच्छा आता है. अच्छा समय का मतलब ये होता है कि जब हम अच्छा सेल्स कर रहे होते हैं, अच्छे प्रॉफिट बना रहे होते हैं, मार्केट में डिमांड अच्छी होती है, और हमारी सब चीज़ें एक पायदान पे अच्छी चल रही होती हैं. और बुरा समय कुछ ऐसा कहते हैं कि जब हम डिमांड नहीं है मार्केट में, कंपटीशन ज़्यादा है, हमारे प्रॉफिट को टूटे हुए हैं. तो हम जब बात करते हैं कि जब समय अच्छा हो, आपके पास में प्रॉफिट्स हो रहे हों, तो उस समय ओवर एम्बिशियस ना होके अगर हम ये करें कि हमारे जो लोग हैं हमारे जुड़े हुए हैं उनको मजबूत करें, हमारे फाइनेंसिस को मजबूत करें, और फिर हम जो है वो हमारी प्लानिंग के साथ हमारे पैसे को इन्वेस्ट करें. तो मैं समझता हूँ कि ये पहला मैं कहूँगा कि ये चीज़ जो है वो नहीं होनी चाहिए. अब उसके बाद कहते हैं कि शॉर्टकट्स जो है ना वो हमें नहीं लेने चाहिए. क्योंकि देखिए हम कहते हैं कि बहुत जल्दबाजी में हम कोई चीज़ ले लें, बहुत जल्दी जल्दी कुछ कर लें, तो हमारी जो इंडस्ट्री है ये समर्पण मांगती है, और जब तक ये हमारी नहीं होती है तब तक हम जब तक इसमें समर्पित नहीं होते हैं, तो हम जब इंडस्ट्री के अंदर में हैं तो पूरी समर्पण की भावना के साथ पूरा टाइम देकर अगर हम करते हैं तो ही ये हमारी इंडस्ट्री हमारी होती है। तो मैं कहता हूँ कि शॉर्टकट्स मत लीजिए, इनोवेशन से भागिए मत, टेक्नोलॉजी को अडॉप्ट कीजिए, क्योंकि यही चीज़ है जो आगे ले जाएगी। रोबोट्स में यूज़ करें, जैसे मैं आज पढ़ रहा था कि 50 किलोमीटर का चाइना में रोड बनाया और रोबोट्स ने बनाया है, उसमें ह्यूमन कोई इंटरफेरेंस था ही नहीं। तो ये चीज़ें अडॉप्ट करें।
Rohit, back to you. I think you said about the way your business is changing. You know, one of the things that we keep discussing today is AI. Do you think AI is reshaping your business, and how do you see, you know, the transformation coming or a disruption coming from AI in your business?
Specifically to consumer distribution, retail, I think one, we don't have an option but to not adapt it.
Absolutely.
जो सुरेश भाई बोल रहे थे कि आपको चॉइस ही नहीं है या ऑप्शन ही नहीं है या you cannot have in variances. The normal phone which we sell, let's say a Samsung device which is 15, 20, 25,000 will have an AI inbuilt. It already has an AI inbuilt thing. Now the question is, are you using it? COVID, my parents learned to use Zoom. सबके पेरेंट्स ने वो Zoom कॉल सीखा, WhatsApp में सबको अब बेसिक चीजें आ गई, and that's how technology is made simpler, life simpler. That's how we'll have to see, from an AI perspective also. Now, is it too complicated? Is it too many jargons, too many words? Yes, it's always there. वो सब है. I think the way AI is helping us or businesses like us or any business, I think the decision lag time can be reduced. People will not go away for sure. लोग तो लोग ही हैं, काम तो लोग ही करेंगे, हमारे business में तो लोग ही कर सकते हैं. That will not change. Efficiencies will improve drastically. I think we just did one study and one of our principal partners was helping us do it, saying a same set of report across हमारी 29-30 branches है जिससे हम distribution करते हैं. Out of the 29-30 branches, 200 salesmen हैं, 200 salesmen 400 SKU बेचते हैं. तो math अगर आप करेंगे, multiply करेंगे, 50,000 दुकानों में हम बेचते हैं. So you just multiply the mathematical data. हम अभी वो एक्सेल में बनाते हैं. एक आदमी का काम सिर्फ उस रिपोर्ट्स को अपलोड करना, डाउनलोड करना, even with basic. Now, if that is a repetitive work, it can change. Do we remove that person? No. That person knows it. उसको हम सिखा सकते हैं, उससे हम शायद दूसरा काम और बेहतर करा सकते हैं. That's how we see AI as an overall adaptation. Are we doing it completely? No. It will take time for us also to learn. कुछ मजबूरी में करेंगे, कुछ सीख कर करेंगे, कुछ अपनी इच्छा से करेंगे. Some we will have to do it. We will not have a choice but to adapt it. But if we shy away from that, I don't think we will have a place even in the next 5 years or 10 years in any industry. Doesn't matter. आप छोटा single store है, multiple store है, whichever businesses you are doing, it will come and impact you. The question is how fast can you learn, adapt. Even if it's a small thing, doesn't matter. I don't think it will. थोड़ा डराने का चीज़ ज़्यादा है. I don't think it's gonna come disrupt the industry. Businesses will be businesses. In fact, in some cases, we've seen use of AI has helped us reduce our working capital cycle.
It's an enabler.
So it's just an enabler. The way this is how we see it. We are trying to figure out how do we train our people. Because difficult चीज़ शायद वो होने वाली है हमारे लिए. हम उसको palatable, adaptable, संक्षिप्त में आसानी से लोगों को कैसे समझा सकते हैं. That is where our challenge will be, and if the banks can help us, that as an overall training thing, it'll be a great initiative from your side.
Absolutely, Rohit. I think just as an information I'm sharing, as a bank, we are investing 30 minutes a week by everybody just to learn AI and what can AI help you in your job and what you can, give it to AI and how can it do your job better. And it's a this thing that we have started, and I'm sure we'll see results in it in the next 3 months or so.
Great.
Yeah. Ankit, back to you. What are the challenges that you see in your industry in the next couple of years?
Challenge-wise, since we are talking about three different industries, steel sector is it's highly capital intensive.
Yeah.
You give me enormous money today, I'll come back with another proposal 6 months down the line. It's never enough, and the margins are wafer thin. So capital is enormous and margins are wafer thin. So challenge is basically either you set up an integrated unit where you own from the basic ore to the finished goods,
Yeah.
including power, or you enter a niche segment. So as of now, talking about myself or my own company, what we are doing is considering government has come out with this fabulous solar power policy in Chhattisgarh. We have initiated setting up our own captive solar power plant so that at least one of the key ingredients, which is power, we will have some ownership on that.
Sure.
In terms of software, it's more of a policy-driven thing. Since our company is majorly focused on US, we will have to still see the impact of how the visa rules that have recently changed, how they are going to impact. Hospitality is just completely about your manpower.
Yeah.
So if I'm running a restaurant, one bad experience and you'll never come back to me.
True.
So the key challenge is to get those cream layer of manpower, and it is very difficult. I see the attrition is much higher than anywhere I have seen till date. So people will keep coming in, keep going out. So that is the challenge. How do you retain those key guys?
Service industry is difficult. Trust me, we are in banking, and the moment of truth is very important. And every time we do a mistake, we believe that we've lost that moment to the customer, and we could have done better. So, yeah. Suresh ji, back to you. वही challenges in iron and steel अगर आप बता सकें, and next 5 years how do you see the industry?
देखिए, अगर हम आयरन एंड स्टील की पूरे वर्ल्ड वाइड की बात करें तो चैलेंज जो है वो डंपिंग है, और डंपिंग जो है वो चाइना जो है उसमें बड़ा पार्ट अदा करता है, क्योंकि 1100 मिलियन टन स्टील वो प्रोड्यूस करता है, और उसके पास में बहुत सारे स्टेट ओन्ड कंपनियां हैं, उसके पास में बहुत सारे ऐसे गवर्नमेंट के जो उनको सब्सिडीज़ दी हुई हैं जिनके कारण जो है वो डंपिंग की तरफ में आगे बढ़ जाते हैं, क्योंकि जो माल उपयोग कर पाते हैं अपने यहाँ पे उसके बाद उनकी बहुत छोटी क्वांटिटी बचती है, और हमारे लिए बड़ी है क्योंकि हम 150 मिलियन पे हैं, वो 1100 मिलियन पे हैं हमारे लिए या पूरे वर्ल्ड के लिए। तो आप ये कह सकते हैं कि ये एक बड़ा चैलेंज है पूरी इंडस्ट्री के लिए। और अगर बात करें डोमेस्टिक की, और बात करूँ मेरे स्टेट की, मेरे छत्तीसगढ़ की बात करूँ, तो ये माटी जो है जिसके अंदर में आयरन ओर की उपलब्धता है, मैं कहता हूँ कि आज जितना छत्तीसगढ़ के अंदर में आयरन ओर, देखिए स्टील दो चीज़ों से बनता है, एक है आयरन ओर और एक है कोयला। तो कोयला तो हमारी आज तत्कालीन सरकारें जो आई हैं जिन्होंने बहुत मेहनत करके कोयले पे तो काम किया है, और कोयला आज हमको बहुत ठीक रेटों में अवेलेबल हो रहा है। पहले हम सुनते थे कि 4 दिन का कोयला वहाँ बचा है, 5 दिन का कोयला वहाँ बचा है, वो सब चीज़ें चली गई हैं। अब बात करें आयरन ओर की, तो आयरन ओर एक ऐसा सेक्टर बचा है जिसको अभी भी ज़रूरत है गवर्नमेंट इंटरवेंशन की, जिसको ज़रूरत है पॉलिसीज़ की, और वो पॉलिसीज बनेंगी। आयरन ओर जो आज छत्तीसगढ़ में जितना आयरन ओर है उसका 5% भी पिछले 50 सालों में हम नहीं निकाल पाए। और जहाँ वहाँ देखिए चाइना ने जहाँ जो मिला उसको जो है वो रेजिंग किया, खोद के और अपने काम में ले लिया। तो एक ये चैलेंज है, अगर हम देखें कि स्टील के सेक्टर में चैलेंज अगर मैं बात करूँ तो। और अब जब बात करते हैं आगे की, आगे क्या, तो देखिए संभव की बात मैं करूँ तो संभावनाओं में जीना और संभावनाओं को संभव कर दिखाना, ये हमारी फिलॉसफी है। और जब बात करते हैं स्टील की और स्टील की जरूरत की, तो क्या होता है, हर आदमी क्या बोलता है अभी कि गवर्नमेंट का पैसा नहीं है यार, पैसा तो यहाँ लग गया, वो स्कीम में लग गया, वो स्कीम में लग गया। मैं बोलता हूँ जैसे रोटी कपड़ा मकान आदमी के लिए ज़रूरी है, वैसे ही देश के लिए उस इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की ज़रूरत है जो देश को आगे बढ़ाएगा। आज मैं बात करता हूँ पावर की। आज देखिए छोटा सा मैं गणित बोलता हूँ आपको कि हमारे यहाँ पे 325 गीगावाट पावर हम जनरेट करते हैं, जिसको कहते हैं आरटीसी, जिसमें हमने सोलर को भी विंड को भी ले लिया, और चाइना 3500 गीगावाट पावर जनरेट करता है। तो आज हमको अगले 10 सालों में जितना हमने पिछले 100 सालों में पावर बनाई है, अगले 10 सालों में पावर की जरूरत है। हमारे यहाँ 180 करोड़ लोगों के बाद हमारी जनसंख्या कम होनी शुरू होगी, तो आने वाले 35 करोड़ लोगों के लिए भी हमको चाहिए। आज हमने रोड बना दिए, रोड पे स्पीड ले आए, आज 100 की 120 की स्पीड पे गाड़ियां चल रही हैं, क्या उनको क्रैश बैरियर की जरूरत नहीं है? हमको क्रैश बैरियर लगाने ही पड़ेंगे क्योंकि हमको जान बचानी है।
जी।
आज गाड़ियां रोड पे खड़ी रहती हैं, क्या वो गाड़ियां रोड पे खड़ी रहेंगी तो क्या हम स्पीड मैनेज कर पाएंगे, एक्सीडेंट रोक पाएंगे, लोगों को बचा पाएंगे? तो आज पार्किंग की जरूरत है। किसानों की जो उपज है उसको लंबे समय तक अगर स्टोर करना है तो स्टोरेज हाउस की जरूरत है, वेयर हाउसिंग की जरूरत है। तो ये बेसिक रेलवे, ये जरूरत बेसिक है। रोटी कपड़ा मकान जैसे जरूरी है वैसे ही देश की इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर जरूरी है। तो स्टील तो साहब लगना ही है। और स्टील की मैं बोलता हूं कि आने वाले दिनों के अंदर में कोई चैलेंज स्टील के फील्ड में नहीं है। बस जो चैलेंज है वो यही है कि अगर थोड़ी सी हमारे को और शक्ति मिले, थोड़ी सी रॉ मटेरियल जो प्राइसिंग है पॉलिसी है वो ठीक हो जाए, तो हम जो चाइना आज एक्सपोर्ट करके जो बवाल मचा रहा है, धूम मचा रहा है, वो भारत भी मचा सकता है।
What steps should MSMEs take in the retail distribution space? Somebody who's already there or intending to start. Your 2 bits on that.
I think overall from a retail distribution, and see, distribution is not just specific to any consumer product only. I think even steel needs distribution, be it back-end supply chain for hospitality, or even software for that matter. Distribution हम बहुत ही specific industry specific नहीं है. Any industry, any space, you will need distribution. Distribution is actually it's not an option, but it's a moat which you can create. I think a lot of companies today have done well because distribution has been managed well. I think the entire disruption, we were talking about supply chain disruption. Tariff is all about supply chain disruption, if you ask me. What anybody, all of us can do first, and I think वो काफी सारा discussion हो रहा है around the world, is just adapting technology overall. In whatever formats we can use it, even if it's simpler, just adapting technology. I think that'll be one. The second piece, I think size and scale will matter. You can pick up one product or one service and slightly try to make it bigger. वो ज़्यादा ही हो रहा है, because that's what I'm seeing, concentrated distribution houses emerging out of every industry. Steel's becoming more concentrated, FMCG is becoming more concentrated. We would never get smaller companies coming to us saying ki we want to work with one state partner. This is globally the model of distribution. Chhattisgarh, if I see, is bigger than a lot of European countries. It's as simple as this in terms of people, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of length and breadth. If I just see Chhattisgarh as one state, the 7 states of UAE, they are smaller. Within the Middle East, Chhattisgarh is bigger. Our per capita is lower, but that's how companies of our kind of regional companies, जो पहले छोटे-छोटे शहरों पे अलग-अलग होता था, regional companies are emerging. You have an option of becoming a regional player and still a large regional player. And we are seeing that emergence happening across category. ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ एक में हो रहा है, across category, across product line and service line. So you can pick up your product and choose to be big in that. That's the second piece I would say. The third is, of course, it'll always be about people. So figuring out the right set of people to work with you. That's broader set of things which we would want to. Again, we are focusing on. We would tell anybody to get into retail distribution. Small distribution business will not survive. So size and scale will matter, be it any kind of retail distribution landscape.
Thanks, Rohit. Ankit, over to you. Second generation entrepreneur again. What, how have you seen the business evolve in the last 10 years, the entire group?
So from last 10 years, I might not be able to give much perspective, but over the past 6-7 years since I have been involved, now the information is flowing very freely. So I'll give you a very small example of how we sell steel. So if I'm talking to my customer about my rates, about TMT, it's a commodity product. There is no much different, not much of a differentiation. So earlier he used to only talk about the rates. Now he will discuss with me about the margin of each and every industry which has led to the production of steel. So that is one major change that we have seen, because the information 90% of our business is through WhatsApp or emails. So that's how the industry has evolved, where now everyone knows what you're working on, what the margins are. They will, every customer will discuss your margin before buying a product from you. So that's how things have changed for this particular industry.
Sure. Suresh, back to you. Last question from my side. Company got listed. Congratulations. If you can just share the journey with everyone, I think everyone's aspiration is to go public someday, and you've been there. So if you can just share that story of your preparation and getting there.
जी, देखिए आईपीओ की जर्नी जो है वो बहुत ही शानदार रही।
जी।
कुछ डिफ़िकल्टी रही जिनको हमने पार किया, और हम ये मानते हैं कि जब हम विश्व के बेहतरीन लोगों से मिले, फाइनेंस के दिग्गजों से मिले, उनसे हमने बातें की, उनके मार्गदर्शन भी मिला हमको
जी।
कैसे व्यापार को और हम आगे बढ़ाएं। हम हर तरीके से ये हम मानते हैं कि इस जर्नी में हमने बहुत कुछ पाया।
जी।
रही बात कह दूं मैं आपको कि किस तरीके से ये कामयाब हो पाया, किस तरीके से हम इसको कर पाए, ये तो मेरे पिताजी की जो हमारे ऊपर में कृपा, हमारे पितरों की कृपा रही है। तो उनका आशीष है कि भाई उनका जो कहना है कड़ी मेहनत, पक्का इरादा और के साथ आगे बढ़ो और सब कुछ मिल जाएगा, तो ये उसी का परिणाम है। और जब हमने देखा कि हम बहुत बड़े जब लोगों से हमारा बड़े लोगों के कहने का मतलब जो अपने पदों पे बैठे हैं, जो बहुत बड़े बड़े फंड मैनेज कर रहे हैं, जब उनसे मिले और हमने अपनी बातों को ईमानदारी से रखा।
जी।
और जब हमने अपनी कमिटमेंट्स देखिए, क्योंकि हम जब अपने घर में कमिटमेंट करते हैं, हमारे घर के कमिटमेंट होते हैं, लेकिन जब हम बैठ के लोगों के बीच कोई कमिटमेंट करते हैं और पेपर में लिख के देते हैं, तो वो कमिटमेंट जो है वो बहुत आपको बहुत कुछ आपकी जिम्मेदारी बढ़ा देता है,
रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बन जाती है।
तो हमने ये देखा कि हमने जब पूरी ईमानदारी से बातें की, हमने जब उनको सामने कमिटमेंट्स रखे हमारे, तो लोगों ने उसको अप्रिशिएट किया और उसी का परिणाम हुआ कि हम 30 गुना जो है वो ज़्यादा सब्सक्राइब हो पाए। और आप कह सकते हैं कि हमने जो भी अब अचीव किया है इस पूरे जर्नी के अंदर में, वो यही अचीव किया है कि हमने रिस्क जो लेने की कैपेसिटी है हमारी, वो भी हमारी बढ़ी, क्योंकि अब कैलकुलेटेड रिस्क हो गए। हम अपने पीयर्स के साथ में अपने डेटा को मिला पाते हैं, उनको संभाल पाते हैं, और जो लोग आउटसाइड से हमको देख रहे हैं तो हमको और जिम्मेदार बना रहे हैं। और एक बात मेरे को बड़ी अच्छी लगी, हम एक दिन मीटिंग कर रहे थे, तो वहाँ हमारे जो लोग थे, पहले क्या बात करते थे, भैया ये देखिए ये अपने कुछ ये करने से हमारे इतने पैसे या ये प्रोडक्शन के पैसे बच जाएंगे या 10 रुपये टन का फायदा हो जाएगा। अब उन्होंने बोला साहब भैया ये 2 करोड़ रुपए इबिटा बच जाएगा। अरे तो एक बड़ी नई सी बात लगी। मैंने बोला ये देखो ये क्या कितना बड़ा काम हो गया कि बिना कुछ करे भी हमको इसमें रिवॉर्ड मिल गया। तो ये रिवॉर्ड हमको मिला।
Thank you, Suresh ji. Rohit, back to you. One of the favorite debates that I have generally seen is online, offline, and e-com and brick and mortar. So if you could just share your thoughts around this.
I think the debate will continue and it'll continue, I think, till the time, at least for some time. I think if you see the journey of online's been is a function of 2-3 things. One, technology being evolved and adaptable. We as consumers are okay to go. Trust was the first factor. A lot of money from the startup world has been poured to make consumers aware about it. ये 10-15 साल 20 साल की journey है. I think the Flipkart story started 2007 and all onwards. Will it remain 100%? So India will always be an omni-channel market. आप कोई channel पे काम नहीं कर पाएंगे. That's how the India story will play. If you ask me the percentages, it will be different for different industry. But in general, offline will be the largest one. Offline will be the largest one. Shapes बदलते रहेंगे, color बदलते रहेगा, and then as a business, whichever business you are, whatever you are selling, you will have to choose omni-channel play will be there. Now the question is थोड़ा मुश्किल होता है online specifically को समझना, evolve करना, टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज़ ज़्यादा है, डेटा and a lot of transparency अभी टाइम लगता है. And quick commerce एक नया बीस्ट है. उस बीच में अगर मैं कंज्यूमर प्रोडक्ट्स की बात करूं, I think the way overall Indian consumption landscape will be there. I think it'll be a large offline play, a large online play of any kinds and any sorts. The beauty of online is it helps you discover your product.
Yeah.
आप चिल्ला चिल्ला के अपने product अपने market में बता भी पाएंगे तो you can only reach so many consumers.
Yeah.
It gives you the advantage instead of fearing out of it. It's actually a best tool for you to do the same kind of business sitting from the same place but at beyond the country or pretty much in the whole country if a product and if you put some brain in advertising it or making awareness. So online awareness के लिए a lot of time discovery happens on online. You still buy offline. तो वो सबसे अच्छा चीज है. The way we look at it, it's going to be physical, physical and digital. That's how the consumer world will be. As he was mentioning, the entire business is moved to WhatsApp. So what will you call it? It's still physical product movement happening, but the trade's happening digitally now. So you don't have a choice. You will have to adapt it. Your Neo or your any app is that. That's how everybody is looking for convenience. Instead of fighting it, I think adapting it and working along with it is the best solution which we can have for all of us. Whoever is moving products and services.
True.
That's the way I see it.
Ankit, over to you. I think you spoke about a business being completely integrated. Where do you see the next wave of profitability and growth coming from in your business?
So from a macro perspective, for steel industry, it has to be a mixed bag of things. See, backward integration will always be a defensive strategy where you take control of your raw material availability as well as the cost, but it will not drive the growth. The growth driver will always be in terms of volume, it will be long products, and in terms of value, it will be probably specialized steel or something of that sort. So that's where the next growth will come from. It has to be a mixed bag of things. And if you, I'll not take names, but if you see the companies which have moved from medium scale to large scale, they have completed the portfolio and now are maybe some part of it's left, basically maybe owning I don't know, mines or a captive mines for coal. But apart from that, they have a mixed bag of things. That's how they were able to move from a medium to a large scale enterprise.
Good. Thank you, Ankit. Thank you everyone for your time, and I hope the audience enjoyed the discussion we had. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. आप सब कृपया 2 मिनट स्टेज पे ही रुके. आई एम श्योर सबको भी ये पैनल डिस्कशन बहुत अच्छा लगा. हम सबके पास आज घर ले जाने को अपने अपने टेक अवेज मिल गए हैं. I will now like to request Mr. Saurav Datta and Mr. Prashant T.S. to present a memento to Mr. Suresh Goyal. A big round of applause.